where the board conducted business under Section 44(2) of the Community Safety and Policing Act, including confidential matters related to labor relations, finance, and legal matters. Yes. Thank you. Great. This has been an exceptional year, and I would like to thank every member of the London Police Service for all the work you've done on the streets and behind the scenes to keep us safe. While there have been challenges, we are headed toward enhanced public safety and modernized, more effective service delivery. This is the result of dedication, support, and collaboration between the board, the Chief Chong, his leadership team sitting to our right, and the community, and of course, all of our membership, both sworn and civilian. It's so important that we recognize that policing is not a 9-to-5 job. Many of our members and police professionals remain on duty over the holidays, and the board recognizes and sincerely appreciates the commitment and the service they provide to London. And we say thank you. Before we proceed with the agenda, are there any disclosures of interest? Seeing none, I would like to note that Member Wallace, when we called the meeting to order earlier this morning and then went into camera, did declare a conflict on item number 3, which was the Finance Committee Report, Development Charge Study Report 2512 FF03. Any introduction of new business? Any new business, members? Seeing none, approval of minutes from the November 24th, 2025 London Police Service Board open meeting. Moved by Vice Chair Branscombe, seconded by Member Stevenson. Any errors, omissions, corrections? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Anyone opposed? That's carried. Much. We also just want to take a moment today to recognize our Yippee Scholarship recipients. I don't believe we have one that was maybe joining us today. Doesn't look like they're here, but oh wait, oh right there, perfect. Addison, how do I say your last name properly?
Nadrovsky.
Addison Nadrovsky. And we have the opportunity today to recognize the young person who is here and the recipient of the board scholarship connected to the London Police Service Youth in Policing Initiative. This program provides local youth with hands-on experience in policing and community safety while building job skills, mentorship, and pathways to future education and careers. The board scholarship recognizes graduates of the Youth in Policing Initiative, a program that gives young people meaningful exposure to policing, leadership, and community service in London. It supports former Yippee participants as they move on to post-secondary education and continue their commitment to learning and community service. Some of you may recall we had an incredible group of students come to present their experience on the Yippee program to the board. I think I can speak for the board when I say it was very informative. They were very passionate. They were sincere, and it was one of the better presentations that we've had. One of the more memorable ones for sure. This year there were 3 recipients, and we have one of them here with us. And it's my pleasure to introduce this year's Yippee Scholarship recipient, Addison. Congratulations! Thank you very much. Not to put you on the spot, I didn't know if you want to say a few words about the Yippee program and kind of what it means to service. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
I like it. Did not miss a person. So, Chief, I'll turn it to you.
Chair, through you. So the Yippee program is something that we fully endorse and support. It's a initiative from the province and the ministry. And the key pieces of the program involves police connecting with youth in the community, specifically youth that are underrepresented. And it gives us an opportunity with the support of the province to show that policing is an opportunity for youth who typically wouldn't consider policing as an option. It also helps us engage and build trust with marginalized youth in our community. So crime prevention as well as leadership opportunities and really investing in youth, in specifically in our community. Been very fortunate that we have a number of police officers sworn today that were part of the YIPI program. So it's an excellent program. We continue to support it.
Excellent, thank you. Members, any questions?
Can we let the family up for a photo?
We absolutely can. Chief, would you join us? Come on up.
I'll come up here to grab a photo too. Anyone that wants to get on the photo as well, if you want them to. Yeah. I'm gonna take a photo.
That's super young. Thank you guys. Perfect. Thank you very much.
All right. So by all means, you can leave at any time. We would not be offended. But you're also welcome to stay, whatever works for you. So moving on to members, item number 3 in your agenda, the development charge study report, report 2512 FF03. I will turn it over to Deputy McSween, to introduce the development charge case study report. In your packages, you'll find a presentation deck previously provided to the Finance Advisory Committee ahead of this meeting. And the presenter, Sean Michael from Watson Associates, and Dave Borden and Jason Sensei from the city are available virtually to answer any additional questions from the board.
Thank you, through your chair. London Police Service retained Watson and Associates Economics Limited to assist in preparing a police service growth capital needs assessment. The purpose of this assessment is to provide the city with the background information support required to complete the policing services within the city's development charge background study plan for 2028. The report offers a comprehensive evaluation of the capital investments required to support police services in London from 2020 to 2042. And it covers projected population growth in London and the resulting demand for expanded police services and infrastructure. The methodology used to assess both historical and future service levels, including staffing ratios, facility space, vehicles and equipment, the financial implications encompassing those things, facilities, land, vehicles, and staff and equipment, and the alignment of capital investments with council-approved growth projections and municipal standards, ensuring police services are equipped to meet the needs of a growing community. The process and requirements are under the Development Charges Act 1997. The plan was developed, as mentioned by the chair, through a collaborative effort between the LPS and city staff, and we're pleased to have Jason Sense from Director of Capital Assets and Projects for the City of London here with us today, and Sean Michael from Watson Associates is joining us virtually, and they are available to provide any clarification, address any questions that the board may have with regarding the report, and pending any questions, is recommended the London Police Service Board approve the growth capital needs assessment, which represents the gross capital cost for the inclusion in the city's 2028 development charge background study prior to development charge deductions.
Thank you, Deputy. Members, and just before I actually proceed, I just want to reiterate that Member Wallace declared a conflict on this particular matter. And I failed to mention off the top that Member Morgan, I should say, in this capacity, was unable to join us for the public session today due to a scheduling conflict. So he's not with us here today, for those who are wondering. So on that note, I'll turn it over for questions on the development charge study report.
Right, you have Griffin.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just through chair, just when the next time we do a 4-year budget for the city will be 2028, will these numbers be used, or will there be another study done on top of this study to formulate that 4-year budget?
That's a good question.
Deputy?
I'm gonna look to Jody or from Jason from the city to provide the answer to that. I don't want to sit in a chair.
We have you also, watch going on else, yeah.
Just-
Don't get off that easy.
Yeah. If you could answer that question for us.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks very much through the chair. Great question there. So this study is intended to identify the growth capital needs. This will help inform the development charges background study, which will be going to council in the spring of 2027. And then that's then going to further inform the multi-year budget, so the 2028 multi-year budget, specifically the growth component of the multi-year budget.
Okay, yeah, thank you for that through the chair. This is incredibly important as London is growing so quickly. And I'm glad to see this come before us now, so we can anticipate what's coming for the police. You know, in my role here today as a board member, I'll think just of that. What are the challenges ahead? Resources, staffing, et cetera, where's that funding going to come from? So when we grow, as we have come through a period of growth, and that looks like it's going to continue on through the numbers that I see here and other sources as well, I think it's important for this board and for this administration and for finance, both here and at the city, to just be prepared, right? And how are we going to address those challenges? So thank you. It's a good report, good to see.
Member Stevenson.
Yeah, thank you. More of a comment and maybe a bit of a question. We had a great presentation, a fulsome presentation and discussion at the Finance Committee, so really appreciated that. One of the things that I noticed throughout it was that potentially, you know, when we put off capital expenditures that match our growth, we actually, it does more than just limit it in that time period, but it actually is limiting us going forward as well, because there's a cap on what we can claim going forward. So I don't know if there's any follow-up comments on that, just so that it's clear that, you know, it is important to keep those capital expenditures in line with growth, because it has long-term implications.
Deputy.
Jason or
Again, through the chair. So again, great question there. So the Development Charges Act does have a number of statutory deductions, one of which is called a service standard limitation. So it's essentially a ceiling. You cannot recover your future capital costs. In this particular case, you're recovering over a 15-year period, cannot exceed the ceiling. So that's the cap that we're referring to. That cap's based on a backward-looking historical service standard, where you're looking at your replacement costs of all your infrastructure, the number of units, and then you're getting a cost per capita. So what's happening is if you don't spend relative to your service levels, your cap will begin to decrease. And as your cap decreases, then you cannot recover over and above that in terms of DC recoverables. So it's very important that you continue to spend at the appropriate levels and make sure that your historical service standard is met, to not limit your restriction in terms of the amount of DC recoverable funding that you can then get in the future.
Yeah.
Follow-up?
Thank you. No, it was just a great awareness for me in this seat and also in my seat as counselor that, you know, putting it off has, in a sense, pushed more of that cost base onto the tax levy instead of through DCs. So I'll be remembering that going forward.
Seeing none, we have a motion that the London Police Service Board approve the growth capital needs assessment, which represents the gross capital costs for the inclusion in the city's 2028 development charge DC background study prior to DC deductions. Can I have a mover, please? Member Stevenson, seconded by Vice Chair Branscombe. Any further discussion on the motion?
Just a thank you for all the work and for the in-depth presentation at committee. It was appreciated.
Exactly. Thanks to the Finance Committee for the due diligence and all the work that's done behind the scenes also. Deputy as well. Last call on any feedback on the motion. Seeing none, anyone opposed? That's carried. Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 4 in your agenda, presentation by ANOVA and the London Food Center. I'm going to invite Jesse Roger from ANOVA and Jennifer Dunn from the London Women's Center to to come up, please. And they are going to be providing a presentation on the Case Review Advisory Committee. And just before I turn it over to Deputy Guilford, I did want to thank both Jesse from Inova and Jen from the London Peace Center, just for all the work that you do for our community and the organizations that your staff do for our community. I know service certainly sees you as a partner, but so does the board. The work that you do is pivotal, and we thank you for that. And I know that it's difficult work, but it's very, very important work, and the partnership that you have with the service of the board is appreciated. Deputy Guilford, I'll turn it over to you for your introduction and a little bit of background before they begin.
Thank you very much, Chair, and through you. You stole a lot of my thunder there, but I was going to cover in my introduction, but just about, and I don't want to steal too much from their presentation either. So again, both Jesse and Jen are both leaders in their respective areas in the community and do so much for the women and families in this city. So it's great to have them as partners and collaborators in this space with us, and I love seeing the work that they do. They are going to be presenting today on just a briefing report on the Sexual Assault Case Review Committee, which they are both involved in. And again, I don't want to get into a lot of your presentation. So with that, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. And thank you for everything that you said about the work. I appreciate it. And thank you so much for having us here today. I am Jennifer Dunn, and I'm the Executive Director of the London Abused Women Center. And this is Jesse Roger, and they are the Executive Director at Inova. So since 2018, Inova, the London Abused Women Center, Carrefour des Femmes, Muslim Resource Center at LOSA, Bellhumor Law, St. Joseph's Healthcare London, Fanshawe College, and Western University, collectively referred to as the Violence Against Women, Gender, go ahead. Okay. I'm not good at multitasking. Collectively referred to as the Violence Against Women Gender-Based Violence Case Review Advisory Committee, or simply Case Review Committee, have been working with the London Police Service to review cases of sexual assault. In the wake of 2017 media and legislative momentum, in Ontario, several police services and the provincial police launched reviews and instituted oversight and review mechanisms. London Police Service conducted a review of over 1,000 sexual assault cases that were coded as unfounded between 2010 and 2016. They found that only 6% of cases over that period should have been classified that way. London Police Services committed to change how classification works, aiming for a victim-centered approach to coding these cases. Putting a case review committee into place was seen as important for several reasons, including accountability and transparency, better investigative practices, restoring trust, and to have a trauma and violence survivor-centered approach. Inova and the London Police Service hosted a seminar called Minimizing Trauma for Sexual Violence for police officers from across the province in June of 2017. An advisory committee was then created with the support of Inova and is comprised of community representatives, those that I listed at the beginning, and LPS members. Now in 2025, we have reviewers who attend LPS once a month to review cases, and we have a larger committee that meets quarterly to hear feedback from the reviewers to address any gaps or trends and hear updates from LPS. Jesse and I are both the co-chairs of this larger committee. So we are here before you today to discuss feedback regarding the cases reviewed from 2023 and 2024. Between 2023 and 2024, there were 471 cases submitted to the Case Review Committee for review. 74.31% of those cases have been reviewed by the reviewers. Of those cases reviewed from 2023, 71 were seen as being conducted appropriately, and in 2024, 74% were seen as being conducted appropriately. Observations from a report from February 2019 showed that 53% of cases reviewed were seen as being conducted appropriately. So we can see the increase. To the reviewers, appropriately means cases that were completed using a trauma and violence informed approach, complainant interviews were conducted without blame or any kind of interrogation techniques, and the overall satisfaction with all of the criteria for a particular case. As of November 21st, which was the last time the reviewers were here at LPS to review cases, they were still reviewing cases from 2024. And the group meets again this upcoming Friday, December 19th.
So I'm gonna move you through the two recommendations that our committee wants to highlight. So the first, more investigating officers in the sexual assault and child abuse sections. We have found that cases where LPS has done outstanding work is when they are done by the investigating officers from the sexual assault and child abuse section. This team's dedication, time, the entrenchment in the work allow them to have more time, experience, and a stronger handle on how to interview victims and process investigations. In our review, the cases that require more feedback have been reviewed by officers who are not part of this team and have less time dedicated to these types of sensitive cases. And our second recommendation is around continual trauma and violence-informed education for all LPS officers. So we do believe that LPS should consider enshrining trauma and violence-informed lens into all of their trainings for their members. And while we understand expanding the sexual assault and child abuse team may not be in the plans currently and may take some time to address, we feel this secondary recommendation will assist in reducing the number of cases we review where problematic approaches are taken. We also believe that instilling or continuing to instill this lens will support and assist with other areas of LPS investigations, like intimate partner violence. And if I can just say to wrap up, these going off scripts, sorry. But
Okay, that usually happens.
yeah, imagine, yeah. But I also just want to highlight these types of case reviews are happening all across the province, but each city has a different relationship with their police service. And I know that when I've had conversations with my colleagues around the province, and I tell them about the relationship we've had with LPS since we started doing this in 2017, I always get a very surprised reaction. We have a very unique and special relationship, and we're very grateful for all the access that's given. We get answers when we ask questions, and we have a very good working relationship with your team. And so that's special. And so I think that has to do with the amount of dedication that the team here at LPS and the team that our reviewers are sort of focused in on. So we're grateful to continue that forward because of obviously what the data is telling us. So there's more work to be done, but I think take a moment to be appreciative of that too. So that's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, I'm gonna come to questions. I just wanted to see if there's anything that the chief wanted to add or anything from your side first, and then I'll come to the members.
Sure, Chair, and through you, thank you for joining us. And I just want to congratulate both of you for your advocacy for femicide. Megan Walker has been a strong voice in our community. Both of you have shown tremendous leadership in the community to advance femicide and having the federal government recognize femicide. So moving along quite surprisingly quickly. And I just want to acknowledge Jesse's and Jennifer's leadership in raising awareness and advocating strongly for femicide to be recognized by the federal government. So kudos to you. And we have a very strong relationship from historical leadership in this organization. And currently, we have Janine Bonnet, who's the detective sergeant in charge of child abuse and sexual assault. And she's advancing some incredible work that Catherine Dan, our inspector here, that has laid the groundwork for, and leaders such as Pete Testa and Virgin in the back there. So congratulations to all of our people, and we look to continue strengthening our relationship and moving forward with doing things better and better each day.
Thank you, Chief. Vice Chair Branscombe.
Thank you. Thank you for the work you do in the community. And I'm also going to shout out to our former board colleague, Megan Walker, who's been instrumental. Her whole career has been helping abused women and shining a light on the issue. I'm just curious, Mike, not exactly about this, but when Ryan and I attended the International Police Chiefs Conference in Denver, I sat in on a couple of sessions. And one of the interesting things is that a lot of the reporting now is they're doing virtual reporting because the victims are feeling more comfortable. They can get to them faster. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was a really innovative approach. I don't know how to do it here, but I wondered if that's something you're looking at or if it's on the horizon, because the areas that were given, the cities and municipalities that were giving the presentations seemed to think this was really innovative and could really help victims feel more comfortable and also move the system faster, because we'll never have enough officers to do it in person and so on. So I was curious to hear any feedback you have about that.
Yeah, I think we would be very excited to hear about any more options to make it easier for survivors and victims to report. So if that was on the horizon, we definitely want to support that and make sure that that was done with the trauma and violence informed lens. But yeah, more opportunities to get that kind of information. Yeah.
So maybe we can chat off more, because I was really taken by how successful it has been where it's been implemented. So, okay, good.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for coming today, and you heard from others for your great work that you do in our community. And thank you for the positive feedback that you gave, police services. And I'd have to say, from my position, good advocacy on your part. It takes two, I think, for a successful relationship. So I would say, well done on your part for successfully getting your needs explained to the services and doing the proper advocacy to see that those requests get good response. Just a question through you, Chair, maybe to the chief. I don't know if he can answer this. There's been the recommendations here about training, and I'm just wondering, at the police college level, is there training that new officers are getting kind of, from the get-go before they get down to local services?
Chief?
Yes, Chair, through you. Yes, they get basic training at the police college. All police officers, before they graduate from the police college, they get a basic foundation of trauma-informed training, specifically with sexual assaults. Not nearly enough is always the response from us, but that is a ministry piece, and through the years it's increased, which is a good thing. But all sexual assault investigators, if you're going into sexual assault or specializing in those units, like Jesse and Jennifer said, they review those investigations from those specially trained officers. They can see the difference versus new officers coming out of police college. So if we're going into specialized investigations, you'll get additional training and extra training. It's resources, it's time, it's obviously money spent on training in those officers. But what we're doing with the service delivery model and the changes in the organization is, right now, historically, we just have sexual assault and child abuse, a key group of specialized investigators that are taking on essentially all the sexual assault investigations for the organization. With the new model and the way we're doing it now is it just falls in line with these recommendations that we're creating capacity attached to every section. Now 24/7, you'll have expertise on the sections so that all the sexual assaults that come in, they're dealt with more appropriately right off the hop. So you'll have experienced investigators guiding the uniform investigators and the uniform response right away. And ultimately the investigators, the newly formed ones that attached, will take on those investigations and lead it right then and there. And if it has to be elevated to a more serious sexual assault, then it goes to Janine Bonnet's team. So we're actually trying to take a load off the sexual assault investigators, let them investigate the very, very serious ones. We take on the less serious, but provide the training and the expertise for our officers to do that. So it's better for the community. It falls in line with the recommendations. This is something that was planned in the multi-year budget.
Okay. Well, thanks, Chief, and thank you, Chair, and thank you very much.
Questions or comments? With that, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. And we look forward to strengthening the partnership in the years ahead. Thank you. Members will move to item number 5 in the open agenda, the London Police Service for oversight, and statutory compliance. This report is presented to address two related but distinct obligations under the Community Safety and Policing Act. First, an update on the board's strategic plan renewal and the associated community consultation process. Second, the adoption of the board's governance level diversity plan under section 37 of the Act. And I'm going to speak briefly on each component, so I'll ask you to bear with me. But the strategic planning update, the first section of the report, the update on the strategic planning is for information only. There is no action for this item. In July, the board formally directed that its strategic plan be renewed and the next one beginning in 2027. The board placed significant emphasis on ensuring meaningful community input. Since then, the board has engaged the external firm Advanis to support an arm's length consultation process. Public consultations are planned for early 2026 and will include targeted outreach through focus groups and engagement letters, representative surveys, interviews, and facilitated community forums open to anyone who can attend. The intent is to ensure a broad range of voices are heard, including those who do not typically participate in traditional consultation processes, especially with police services. As the work progresses, further details and opportunities for public engagement will be communicated through the board's website and other channels. Transparency and accessibility remain central as the board undertakes this work. As I mentioned, there's no recommendation in the attached report, and it's provided to keep the board and the public informed of progress and next steps. Before I move on to the board's diversity plan, are there any questions from the members or concerns on the strategic plan update? Vice Chair Breslin.
For the people listening in, why do we do a strategic plan? What does it, can you explain to the public why we do a strategic plan for the board, our guiding principles?
So Executive Director.
Yeah, through you, Chair. So, one of the board's key obligations is the development of the strategic plan. And it is in the CSPA, and it is also very prescriptive and providing details to what it should look like. But in general terms, it's to provide high-level strategic direction to the service. So it's about the vision, the direction, and where the focus of the service should go in the next few years. What happens with that is then the service takes that plan and they develop a business plan that has actions in order to fill the strategic plan in the direction of the board. And it's very important, and one thing that I know the board is aiming towards for this one as well, is ensuring that there's measurable outcomes in the strategic plan. So what that means is there's specific goals in mind for enhanced public safety based on the community needs, based on the community input that the service will then work towards. And that's why the consultations are so important. It's because we really need to determine what those needs are, what they look like, and what is best for the city of London.
Well,
Perfect, thank you.
All right, any further questions? Okay, so I'll turn your attention to the second item in the report, and that's the board's diversity plan. And the second part of the report is the board's governance level diversity plan before you for approval. So there is an action item on this one. Section 37(1)(e) of the Community Safety and Policing Act, which our executive director just referenced, requires police service boards to prepare and adopt a diversity plan to ensure that the service reflects the community. In July, the board directed the Governance Advisory Committee to develop this plan. The board's diversity plan is high level, focusing on governance expectations, accountability, and oversight. It sets the standards and outcomes the board expects, but does not prescribe how the service operationalizes them, as that will be through the service's own EDI plan, which is under the purview of the chief, and will address the operational execution, including internal procedures, training, and frontline interactions. This plan was developed through the Governance Advisory Committee, as I mentioned, with input from the service and a review through an external EDI lens to ensure alignment with the broader community expectations. It's also intended as a living document that can evolve as the board's strategic planning consultations progress. The commitment indicated on page 3 speaks to an expansive definition of diversity beyond gender and race, to include all identities, lived experiences, and perspectives. The plan outlines the board's oversight approach to diversity, the board's own accountability and accessibility measures, and the board priorities for the service in operationalizing the plan. This includes reflecting the municipality, the multiplicity of the community, ensuring inclusive merit-based recruitment pathways and equitable representation, building cultural competency and reporting outcomes through data-driven metrics. Adopting this plan today strengthens role clarity, alignment, and consistency within the board's strategic and legislative responsibilities. The Governance Advisory Committee recommends that the board adopt this governance level diversity plan as presented and designate it as the guiding document for the service's operational EDI plan and related work. Second, the service present its plan to operationalize the document at a future open board meeting as part of the board's monitoring and oversight role. In closing, the report enables the board to meet its legislative obligations while reinforcing the alignment between governance and operations. It strengthens accountability and reaffirms the board's commitment to inclusive, transparent, and community responsive governance. So we do have a motion for this, but before we go into that, I will turn to the members for any comments or questions on the diversity plan as presented. Member Stevenson.
I'll just, through you, thank the HR committee for their work on that. I'm very supportive of what's before us.
Thank you. Seeing no other comments, there is a long motion, so I'll read it out and then I'll look for a mover or seconder. So this is based on the London Police Service Board Diversity Plan, whereas Section 37(1)(e) of the CSPA requires the board to prepare and adopt a diversity plan to ensure that members of the police service reflect the diversity of the area for which the board has policing responsibility. Whereas on July 16th, 2025, the London Police Service Board, or the board, directed the Governance Advisory Committee to develop a governance level board diversity plan in consultation with the London Police Service, the service. Whereas the board's diversity plan is now complete and ready for approval, and whereas the development of the London Police Services, the service EDI plan is currently underway through the service, it is recommended that the London Police Service Board adopt the board's diversity plan as presented, designate it as the guiding document for the service's operational EDI plan and related work, and direct its implementation and monitoring in accordance with the board's strategic priorities and oversight responsibilities, and the London Police Service presents its plan to operationalize this guiding document at an upcoming board meeting to ensure alignment. Have a mover, please. Moved by Vice Chair Branscombe, seconded by Member Stevenson. Any comments on the motion on the floor? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Anyone opposed? That's carried. Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 6 in your agenda. Sorry, too many books here. Verbal updates. So first, we will start with myself. I just want to take a moment to thank everyone in the room and online and around our community for a very, very productive year. We've achieved a lot as a board, and I want to thank all the members to my left, our executive director, our admin team as well as the chief and his team for all the tireless work that has been done to ensure that the London Police Service becomes the best police service in the country and gives the service that Londoners deserve and expect of us. We've accomplished a lot in 2025. From a board perspective, you've seen a new visual identity that we've taken on as a board to clearly delineate ourselves from the service as the governance oversight body. So you'll see that through our logo, through our websites, through our own office in the new location that's just outside this room as well. We've really put priority on communication and transparency and engaging with the community more for a long time, and still the case, but we're growing. The community doesn't know what a police service board does and what the role is. So we've really taken that seriously to try to ensure that we educate more on what our role is. There's been a lot of governance training and development workshops held for board members, focused on their legislative priorities, strategic oversight and best practices. We've reestablished advisory committees on this board as well to do a lot of committee work beforehand to bring to this board so that they're worked on, not as many items are deferred, and we can move to quicker decisions that benefit the service in our community. Myself and the chief presented at the OAPSB, the Ontario Association of Police Service Boards, the spring conference. Our executive director just got back from presenting at the Labor Conference as well. The board initiated an external organizational review, as many know, through MMP in 2024 as part of its ongoing governance commitment to enhance service delivery, identify financial efficiencies, and align resources with core public safety priorities. And with that has come the creation of a CAO and a general counsel position that is concluding in the recruitment process right now. And that CAO will be taking one of the current deputy positions. So we will be moving to a 2 deputy, 1 civilian deputy CAO model in the very near future. And we'll have more to say about that soon. And this is based on the recommendations of the third party arm's length report that MMP undertook. As we just discussed, we've also embarked again on the strategic plan development, the adoption of our diversity plan, as well as a series of new policies. The advocacy that's been done by everyone sitting around this table are sworn civilian members of the service. I can't say thank you enough. I can go on and on. There's been the Chiefs Gala, there's been the budget, there's been money sent back to the city, there's been a focus on affordability and making sure that we understand the pressures that all Londoners are facing. And one thing I will commit is what I said when I took on the chair 7 months ago, is that this board will stop at absolutely nothing to ensure that we have an effective and a efficient police service that delivers on the services that Londoners expect, but we'll also stop at nothing to be transparent, to ensure that we make sure that every dollar is accounted for, that the money that isn't used is sent back, and that we're always constantly having that important conversation for how we use the hard-earned tax dollars that are entrusted to us by the City of London. And I wanted to say thank you to the association in the back as well. I see that we have Garrett Harris, the president, Paul Dominguez, the executive director, and the London Police Association and all their members. We thank them for their commitment to our mission and to the chief and his mission as well. We're very appreciative of everything they do, and they'll be working through the holidays. When many people are sitting down with families, they'll still be making sure that our communities are safe. So on behalf of the board, we thank you for everything your members do, but we also thank you for your constructive collaboration and the strong partnership that I believe we've forged over the last few years. So thank you very much. And on that, I'll just say Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays. And for however you celebrate, I hope this holiday season is peaceful. I hope it's safe, and we look forward to coming back in 2026 with a renewed mandate to continue to deliver for Londoners. So I will leave it there, and I will turn it over to the chief for his verbal.
Thank you, Chair, and through you, I echo your comments. And first of all, just want to thank the board for all your support and ensuring that this police service strives to be the best police service in the country. And I just want to reiterate the gratitude that we have for the board and the board support. I also want to acknowledge the 2 leaders at the back there. Paulo Dominguez looks like a Portuguese model. And Garrett Harris for their leadership in the association.
I'll call them for Garrett.
We've accomplished a lot this year, and strong leadership of the association, great open lines of conversation and debate and discussion. Very clear that they care about the members, and we have a great relationship working with them, and we look forward to working with them in the future. So where we are today, a lot because of them. Great gratitude and thanks to senior leadership. You see 2 senior leaders back there in the white shirts there, Pete Testa and Catherine Dan, and all the other leaders that are in the building and operational. But truly the movement and the change of the organization where we're at is from our members, the frontline people, all of our members, both sworn and civilian police professionals that have moved this organization this year. I also want to acknowledge all the members who will be working over Christmas and the holidays as well. So we look back, and I know everybody in leadership has some very difficult and challenging, stressful days, but when you look back at what we've accomplished last year alone, it's because of everybody. It's because of everybody working together. And just remind the board, we're coming to the close of the second year of a 4-year plan, and we're ahead of the game. And if you look at the data and statistics before this board came into play, and before the 4-year plan was put into play, all of our data, all the metrics, all of the statistics were trending very negatively. And it's not a secret that for 2 years in a row, we're seeing a big shift and big change, and that's a result of the hard work of everybody working together and being focused. So I echo your comments, Chair, and it's also important for me to close out just to put on record and to the board that today is the 1-year anniversary of Dante Caranci, a young 7-year-old boy who was killed tragically getting off a school bus almost 1 year ago today. And very tragic situation impacting the community and the family. I want to make sure that the board is aware that Dante's mother and family are finding great purpose into advocating for changes that will prevent something like this happening again to any child. And we've committed as an organization, I've committed as the chief to support Jacqueline Caranci in her quest. And there's opportunities that I see from a legislative reform and awareness piece that we're going to get behind and support her in memory of young Dante. So just important that I mentioned that. And I also want to thank all of our officers who responded on that day last year. As soon as we're done the board meeting, I'll be hitting send on an email to some specific officers on that day. So just for your awareness, and those are my verbals.
Thank you, Chief. And thank you for that. Thanks for honoring Dante and giving us that important reminder. On that note, members, item number 7 in your agenda, is there any new business? Seeing none, can I have a motion to adjourn, please? Moved by member Stevenson, seconded by member Lehman. Anyone opposed?
No, I was just gonna say, just to extend the thanks to the auxiliary and the chaplains as well for all they do.
Absolutely. Thank you. Any further comments? Call the question. Anyone opposed to adjournment? Seeing none, we'll adjourn at 1:48. Thank you very much, everyone. Yeah.